All right, all right. Welcome this afternoon. It's good to see everybody. Glad to have you here. Got a nice little crowd already. That's good to see. Okay, let's come in here and take a look at what we're going to do today. We're going to just do a little scalping. And I said we would look at the Dow Jones today. So we're going to scalp the Dow. So it's a little bit smaller market than the NASDAQ. So we need to be sure that we're not having unrealistic expectations on what we can achieve with a smaller market. But a smaller market is good because if we're new and we're a little bit timid and shy and a little bit nervous about trading some real money, the Mini Dow is a nice one to trade, all right, because it's not going to rip your wheels off if it goes awry. So that's a good thing. So this is let's go through and clean up some of this stuff. Let's come in here and we'll just remove everything. Let's remove everything, turn off Heiken-Ashis, and we'll just be on a 1-minute chart. All right, this is what most traders look at when they trade. Maybe they'll have a moving average or something turned on. Let's turn on a moving average. So we can be normal. All right, we're going to be normal. Save settings. No, I want to come down and overlay, chart overlay. We're going to do a moving average, and most of them will put on, let's see, this is a 2. A lot of traders like to go with 9 and 21. That's really common, really popular. And then they'll look for little crossovers like right here. So this would be a signal for most traders. This would be a little signal in here. This would be a little signal in here, something signal. So you can see that this is kind of how very common, very popular trading strategy for day trading, all right, on a 1-minute chart. So this is what most traders look like. Now, I'm not most traders. I don't really like this. This looks to me difficult to trade. So I like to kind of decorate my chart up with some what I call cheat codes. All right, it's just additional indicators, but I call them cheat codes. So one thing I really like when I'm setting up my charts to trade is, first of all, I like to go to a range bar chart. Now these are minute charts. Okay, so this is a 1-minute chart. This is a 2-minute chart. Oh, got to turn off that. That's a magic. Can't have magic. All right, let's save and apply this to all the chart. So this is a 2-minute chart, and then we come in here to a 5-minute chart. And this is a very common strategy. All right, so we come over here and let's get rid of that 15. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do that. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we'll put all 4 of those on the screen at once. Now, this is really super common. All right. And if you've been looking at some of those other YouTube channels, and I don't know why you'd bother, but if you do, this is kind of how they're going to tell you to set up your charts. So you can see a 1-minute chart, you can see maybe a 2-minute chart, a 5-minute chart, a 15-minute chart, and you can look at different time frames so that you can kind of get an idea of what the trend is overall. And that's a good strategy for beginners, all right, for people who don't know what they're doing. That's a very good strategy. All right, let's fix it so that it's a little easier. That's all I'm saying. I'm just being, a bit of a, I'm just being one of those guys. How's everybody doing? All right. Kim's having a little problem with her software. I'll show you the difference. I think I know what you're doing wrong there. Yeah, it's not you're doing anything wrong. You're just doing something different than what you're trying to do. And I don't think it's the software. I think it's just the way you might be doing something. I can show you that. In fact, let's go through, and while we're talking to Kim, let's fix Kim's problem. Kim says, I don't know if something changed when Track and Trade updated. I can get my trend lines to go from the hourly to the 30-minute or 15-minute to the 5, but how can I fix this draw in both charts? Thanks. So what you do is you have 2 different ways of opening a chart in Track and Trade. So let's pull this up. And let's say that over here in the right-hand side, I have a 5-minute chart, I have a 1-minute chart, another 5-minute chart. Why do I have 2 5-minute charts? A 1-minute chart, 5-minute chart, I don't need 2 5-minute charts. Let's make this one here. Let's make this our 1-minute chart, make this our 2-minute chart, and make this our 5-minute chart. Okay, so now we got a 1-minute chart. Let's put our 1-minute chart on top. And then we're going to bring our 2-minute chart down here. We got a 5-minute chart and a 15-minute chart. All right, so I got 4 different charts. Now, I think what Kim is doing is she's coming in here and she's going, I've got a 1-minute chart and I've got a 2-minute chart, and I want to draw a trend line on my chart. And why didn't it show up on the 2-minute chart? Why didn't it show up on the 5-minute chart? Why didn't it show up on the 15-minute chart? My software's broken. Piece of shit. Why won't it draw on all the charts at the same time? Well, because you got a problem here going on, Kim. You got a situation where you got 4 different charts. These are 4 charts, 4 different charts. They're not the same chart. All right. So the problem that you got is that you drew a line on your 1 minute chart, but the 1 minute chart is not the 2 minute chart. Those are 2 separate charts because you see in your window, you have 4 charts over here. So let's do something a little different. Let's come in here and let's open up a NASDAQ. All right, let's open up a NASDAQ chart. Okay, well, we're going to go into the NASDAQ micro. Actually, we'll pull up, micro's fine. We'll do a micro. Why not? We'll do a mini. NASDAQ mini. And I'm going to open that NASDAQ mini chart. There it is down there in the bottom. Oh, it's got all the cheat codes on it. So let's turn off some of those so we don't look like we're cheating down here. We don't want to cheat. All right, not yet. I want to teach you how to cheat. Ooh, look at that beautiful chart. Turn off the cheat codes. All right, here we go. This is a daily chart. So let's go ahead and we'll save that and apply that setting. We're going to come down and see that it's a daily chart. If I draw a line on a daily chart, watch this. Now, I've only got 1 chart. I can open up a second chart. Watch this. I'll come down here and I'll open up a 2 minute chart. Now, oh, where'd that line go? Well, it's not going to transfer from the daily chart to a 2 minute chart because that's just kind of like, why would we do that? That's a little ridiculous. So it just doesn't do that. It doesn't go from a daily chart to 2 minute part. But again, we got the same problem. We got 2 different charts here. So what if I come down here to go to the 2 minute chart and I come in and I draw my trend line and I say, okay, now I want that to be on my 1 minute chart. But if you open up a new 1 minute chart, okay, oh, where'd the line go? How come it's not there? Well, because again, it's a different chart. If we come in here and in track and trade, you can come down here. See these little buttons down here? These little tabs in the bottom left-hand corner. This means you're going to change the time frame of the same chart. All right. So now if we come in here and we go to the 1 minute chart and we draw a nice big long trend line and we come down here and we click 2 minute, watch this. Now we still got our trend line. Oh, how come? Well, because I just changed the time frame of the same chart. I didn't make a new chart. All right. So now I got 2 2 minute charts. So I can come over here and I can draw a circle on this 2 minute chart. I can come over here to this 2 minute chart and the circle's not there. Why? Because it's a different chart. I come back to this one, circle's still there. Now I can make this 2 minute chart a 1 minute chart. I can come down here and I can click on 1 minute. And it goes back. Oh, there's the circle. Now I have a circle and a line on my 1 minute time frame on that chart. But if I come over here and change it, oh, different chart. Okay, different chart. This chart might have a square on it. So now I got a square on this chart, and I got a circle and a line on that chart. Even though they're both, let's see, we can even come in here and make this a 2 minute chart. So now we got a 2 minute chart with a circle and a line on it, and I got another 2 minute chart with a square on it. See how that works? Now I can change the time frame of any of these charts over here too. I can come in here and right click on this and I can go back to a 1 minute chart. So I can change that chart to a 1 minute chart over here by right clicking on it and saying I want that to be a 2 minute chart, and then my circle and line are still in the 2 minute chart. But if I come down here, I can do it down here too. I can do it either way. It's ambidextrous. It'll do it both ways. All right. But this is my 2 minute chart over here, and it's got my square on it. Now I can take my square chart with a 2 minute chart and make it a 1 minute chart, and I still got a 2 minute chart with a square on it. All right. It just gives you a little bit more power. All right. I know it gets confusing sometimes, but the reason it's confusing is because it's more power. It gives you the ability to have 2 2 minute charts and have different drawings on both of them. All right. You can have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different 2 minute charts if you want to. You can have 10 2 minute charts, and each one can have a different drawing on it. And then you can take this chart, change it to a 5 minute chart, and those drawings will go to the 5 minute chart. But all the rest of them will still stay 2 minutes, and they'll still have all their individual drawings. I know, a little bit complicated, but it's once you understand it, get it all figured out, it's pretty cool. All right. Gives you extra features. All right. So let's go ahead and let's kill that NASDAQ chart. Now, hopefully that helped you. Okay. So Kimberly got that figured out now. She says, I'm in good shape now. I got it all figured out. Okay. So the rest of you, Kimberly, you asked that question. I'm sure everybody else is happy to learn that too. All right. So let's come in here, and we're going to come into the 1 minute chart. Now, when I trade, I like to trade on range bars. All right. I like range bars. So to turn these into range bar charts, I don't want all these minute charts. All right. Not that you can't, you certainly can. And if you want to, you can come in here and you can turn on that Heikin-Ashi, which is what I call the cheat code. All right, you can hit Heikin-Ashi, and this is going to change all of your 1, 2, 5, and 15-minute charts into a Heikin-Ashi charts. Boom, just like that. All right, because I have that up there in my little button bar. If you don't have it in your button bar, just right click on the little handle here, say customize toolbar. It'll pop up this little screen here, and you slide down here, and in here you'll see a little HA. I already got mine moved over. So see that? There it is, HA. And it'll be in this list, and you just click on it like that, and then it'll highlight, and you hit add. And it'll add, and it'll move it over, boom, over into this box, and then you hit close. All right. And if you want to like, oh, I screwed them all up, I want them back the way they were when it came out of the box, then you go ahead and hit reset. All right. So that's going to get that Heikin-Ashi button up there. And then it toggles those on and off like this. And you're like, but Lan, what if I don't want the 15, the 5, and the 2-minute chart to be Heikin-Ashi? I only want the 1-minute chart to be Heikin-Ashi. Okay. Well, what you have to do is you have to take them all off Heikin-Ashi, bring the 1-minute chart to full screen, make it Heikin-Ashi, bring it back down to the single screens, and there. Now that's how you do it. You just have to play the game. And you ever play that little game when we were kids where they had the little plastic thing like that, and they had numbers, and you would move them around with your thumbs to get them all in the right order? That's kind of what we're doing here with the track and trade charts. One thing that I'm the one who designed this user interface, and I know you're like, oh my gosh, this user interface. I love this user interface. I like it like this because other software back in the day, back when we were all designing software, they would do what they called Windows. Some of you have heard of that company. There's a company that had called Microsoft, and they came out with this program called Windows. And Windows, they'd do what they called Cascade, and you'd have all your charts on the screen, and they'd go. They still do that, right? But they go, and you have cascading charts. And then you have to sit there and figure out which one goes here and which one goes there. And you're moving this one over here, and this one you're stretching like that and going like that, and this around. Oh, and that one's in front of this one. And now I can't make this in the right size. And by the time you get your charts all figured out and which chart you're trying to look at, the market's done, gone, and moved without you. And it drove me crazy. I was just like, I want to shoot myself in the head because I was like, I can't deal with this. And so I went to the programmers and I says, I got to have a fixed system. I got to have these things be completely under control so that they're not cascading all over the place and bigger here and smaller there and in front of this one and out of that one. And I was just like, it's driving me crazy. So we came up with this method where it's completely under control. Now, one of the disadvantages, there are disadvantages to having this, is that I can't have this chart be like 3/4 of the screen and a whole bunch of little tiny charts around it. If you want that, sorry. I had to give up that feature to get everything else. And it's just, you have to give a little to get a little. And so that's what I did. I gave up that feature, the ability to have one big chart with a whole bunch of little tiny charts all around it, which I didn't really care anyway. And so I now got this beautiful feature that I can come in here, and if I want to move them around, it's like that little thumb thing. I can move them all around, just grab one and drag it to the other place, grab this one, move it over here, grab this one, move it over here. If you got one missing, right, you can bring one down like that. Now you got a blank spot and you can move them all around, just like that little game, that little thumb game we had was as kids. And so I like this way better than that cascading stupid thing that Microsoft came up with. So I don't know. It's just, different strokes for different folks. And if you like that little cascading thing and you got a software that does that, then good for you. Keep it. But for me, I like it like this. This is really cool. And it gives me all those features that I just demonstrated to you, with the ability to have multiple charts, different time frames, controlled by the right click, controlled with the. Now, notice on here, when you go into the mini windows, there's no tabs down here. So you have to click on this, bring up full screen, and then you have all the little tabs down there. You can change it to whatever time frame you want. You can come here. You can make this as a range bar 12. So we bring it up to a range bar 12. And we go back in here and we can put it back on the screen like that. Now, I can also change it right here. I don't have to go full screen to get a range bar 12. See that? Range bar 12. I can come in here and just right click on that chart. Oh, I want you to be a 2-minute chart. And it'll change it back to a 2-minute chart right there without having to go full screen and hitting the little tabs. Pretty cool, right? All kinds of various ways of doing the same thing. So it all depends on where you're at in your strategy. The whole idea is that this is a trading platform designed to go fast. And whatever you're set at and whatever you're looking at, you've got the ability to make the changes you need from that view. If you change your view, you still got the ability to make changes that you need to make without screwing your whole thing up and then missing a trade. And that's the whole idea. This was a trading platform designed by traders, me, for traders, you. All right. So that's why we've done it the way we've done it. And if you're confused sometimes, just ask me, like Kimberly did. If you're a little confused about why something's done the way it is, just ask me, because I'll explain to you. Because oftentimes there's deep meaning behind why something's done the way it is. I'll tell you just a simple one. Why is the little control panel on the right side? Oftentimes people like to see the control panel over on the left side. You can come over here and put it on the left side. Control panel left side. So this is the way you can have your control panel if you want to. But what if you're trading on the 2-minute chart and you want to place an order? Well, you have to come all the way across the screen with your little mousey. You have to come all the way over here and click on the stop order. And then you have to come all the way back over here and to move it around like that. And that's a long ways and a lot of pain in the rear end to do that. So what we did is we said, well, let's put the control panel next to the chart that we're mostly trading, which is the ones on the right hand side. So we came in here, we said view, control panel, right side. And that puts your buttons all within like 2 inches of where you want to trade with them. Brings it right on the screen, just like that. Bring a limit order in there, just like that. Makes it so much, so your mouse only has to move just a tiny little bit. You're so much faster and so much easier and so much more in control. So things like that have been done for a specific purpose, all right? So you want to make sure that you keep that in mind. That's what we do things for. That's why we do what we do. Now, everything's got a little purpose to it. All right. And I will tell you that I no longer own the company, and sometimes they do things that I don't like. There are features in the software they've put in here that I'm not real fond of. Can't do anything about it. I own the company anymore. What is one of those features, Lan? Okay, I'll tell you. I'll tell you one of the features I don't like. I don't like this auto scale feature right there. They made that thing stay on all the time. You have to turn it off manually to get it off. To me, if I hit auto scale, that's what this button here was designed for. You hit that, boom, that turns auto scale on. See how the charts jump? And then if I move the chart myself, if I move it like that, I want it to turn auto scale off automatically. Hey, wait a second. Watch this. Did they just fix it for me? No. Watch. Did it? No, see, it's still on. See, it's still stuck on. So now when you scroll your chart, the market sometimes jumps all over the place because it's still got auto scale on. So I'm constantly turning auto scale off because I like to move the chart around. I don't like to have auto scale on all the time. So I'm always having to right click and turn it off. And when I owned the company, I had it do that. If you scaled it yourself manually, right? It's like, turn off auto scale. I don't want auto scale on. That's why I did it myself. And they flipped that thing back on, and now auto scale is always on. And if you want to turn it off, you have to turn it off manually. So it's a pet peeve. That's all. It drives me crazy. So I'm constantly turning auto scale off. And that's just one thing that they did that I have no control over. I have no control over. And then they changed the way they draw my tool. Here's another thing that gives me a pet peeve. This thing was designed so you could do, so you're supposed to be able to grab your little triangle tool and bring it out like that. And then you can adjust your ups and downs like that. See that? Both the upper line and the lower line at the same time like this. But they changed it. See that? Now it doesn't do it like that anymore. They made it screwed it up. They screwed it up. So now they come in here. Now I have to go like this. And then I go like this. And then to change it, I have to come up here. I have to grab my arrow. And then I have to grab the point. And then I have to move them around like that to get them to where I want. Before, you used to just draw it like this from the back to the back. Then you had control of it like that. But they changed it. And they made it so that now the lines are screwed up. So now you have to do it like this. Now you have to come in here and you have to draw out. And then you have to draw back. And then you have to come over. And you have to draw your little arrow. And you have to grab the point and move it around. Just a different thing. It's just a pet peeve that drives me crazy. That's what you get for selling your business. But I sold my business. Can't do anything about it. Those two things drive me crazy in the software right now. And if you wanted to write to these people and tell them that it drives you crazy too, just don't tell them I told you to do it. And hope they're not watching this video. All right. Just write to them and say, you know what really drives me crazy is the software used to turn off that auto scale all by itself when you moved it like that. And it doesn't anymore. And it just drives me crazy. You could send them an email that tells them that. And then you could say, and I used to really like the way you used to do the triangle tool. But now you guys drew it like that, and it's backwards, and now I have to do all this extra work to make the triangle tool work. Of course, if you told them that, they would know I told you to, because I whine about it to them all the time, and they just like, sorry, you don't get to choose. You don't own the company anymore. So if you told them that one, they would know I told you. All right, we're getting off the track here a little bit. We're supposed to be trading. All right, let's go set the software up the way I like it. Now, I want to trade on a range bar chart. So the way I get this into a range bar chart is there's a couple ways I can do that. I can come in here and I can right-click on the chart. Actually, that's not what I meant to do. Didn't need to turn those on. I can right-click on the chart, and I can go like this, and I can say, I want a range bar chart. But the only thing that's available is a range 12. Well, we can try that. Or I can come down here and right click on one of these tabs, and I can set these up to be whatever I want. Now that one's set up automatically with a range, and this one's already set up with a range, but I can make them whatever I want. So this is a range. I like to have range bar charts. So that's a range 6. Let's do range 12. We'll put our range 12 right here, and we'll change that to a range bar chart. And then we'll do another range bar. We'll do a 24. Then we'll just do 25 land. Okay. Range bar 25, and then maybe we'll do a range bar 50, because range bar 50 is good. And then we'll have a minute chart in here. We'll have a 2-minute chart, because I do like the 2-minute charts. And maybe we'll have in, actually, since we got now the extra one, we'll do a 1-minute chart here, and we'll do a 2-minute chart here. We could do a 2-minute chart and a 5-minute chart. That would be good too, but we're doing a little scalping. So this is how I'm going to set it up. See that? Pretty cool. Range bar. Oh, this is a minute chart. I got to change that to minute, range. All right. I hit apply. Now when it does that, you'll notice that it changes whatever I had up here on these little right clicks. The little right click menu changes. Now I got range 6, range 12, range 25, range 50, 1 minute, 2 minute. How's that? Pretty cool. And if you look down here, the little tabs are all set up like that too now. Range 6, range 12, range 25, range 50, 1 minute, 2 minute, daily, weekly, monthly. All right, so that's how we got our first step done. Now we're on a range bar chart. Now, why do I like range bar charts? Because they're trend only. They have no time involved. So you could have one price bar that could last an hour if the market's really lazy and really slow, or you could have one price bar that lasts 2 seconds. It doesn't have to wait a whole minute for the market to move. Well, what's the advantage of that? Have you ever been trading on a 1-minute chart and had a really long price bar? It's like really long. There's one right there, right? And by the time that damn thing stops, and if you're using auto trailing stops, or if you're using auto trailing entries, or if you're using the autopilot, or if you're using, auto controls where the market won't move your stop, or it won't move your limit, or it won't move, it won't get in or out of the market until that bar finishes, right? Because all the decisions are made on the close of a bar. And suddenly you got this bar that's like 10 miles long, and you're sitting there going, oh, move my stop, get in. Oh, what's wrong, you piece of shit? Get out of the market, and my stop is too far, because that big long bar screws everything up. I hate it when that happens, right? So in fact, even in the autopilot, we have something in here called the thrust bar. See, where is it? It's a little filter in here where we can turn that off. Thrust signal prevention. See that? You can turn on thrust signal prevention. Don't enter if the market is greater than 5 ticks within one price bar or something like that, right? You can come in here, you got a filter in here that can turn that off. You say, man, if I get one of those dumb things, don't jump into the market, because oftentimes what will happen is the market will way up like that, and then you get in at the top of that market because it's automated, and it doesn't make a decision until the bar closes, and then suddenly the bar it flushes right back down as soon as you get in. So that happens. All right. So that happens on those thrust bars. So you can turn it off, and so it doesn't do that. So another problem is that I'm not using the autopilot over here, and I get those thrust bars, and I have big long thrust bars, and I don't like them. So if you use a range bar, it will break those big thrust bars up into little tiny bars. So for example, in like a 1 or 2 minute chart, that would be one bar. Okay, all those little bars right there, that would be just one bar. And so if we make it a range bar, what happens is it breaks all those big long bars up into a whole bunch of bars. And if your system is automatically moving your stops one price bar back, well, it'll move your price bar. It'll move your stop like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll move it 10 times instead of just one time on the big bar. Now, there's advantages to that and disadvantages to that. But the advantage is that it can lock in profits of that one great big bar before it turns and goes back and takes all your profits away because it didn't move your stop. Does that make sense? Again, there's logic to everything we're doing, and why we have things do things the way they've done it. All right, the way we've done it is because we want to break all those big long bars up into little tiny bars so our auto trailing stops can move up through that one bar. All right, so that's the way we do it. We're going to come down here, delete that. Now, another thing I like to do, I turn on my range bar charts, and the reason I do that, again, is to break those big long bars up. And then another thing I like to do is I like to smooth them out. Japanese, they're pretty smart guys. They came out with this thing called the Heikin-Ashi. All right, that sounds Japanese, doesn't it? Comes out with this thing called Heikin-Ashi. I mean, we call them Japanese candlesticks because they were the ones that were using them in the first place. And then they came out with the second kind of Japanese candlestick called Heikin-Ashi Japanese candlesticks. I adopted both of them. I like both of them. So we come in here and we click on that little HA, and that turns them into these funny little, almost like little hairy things, right? But you'll notice that they have flat bottoms and they have hairy tops, all right? Little hairy tops and little hairy bottoms on the way down, flat tops on the way down. So you got flat bottoms and flat tops. We love flat bottoms and flat tops. Anytime a market's making flat bottoms and flat tops, you can make money on it. If it's not making flat bottoms and flat tops and you're in this Heikin-Ashi mode, then you don't want to trade. If it's making hairy tops and hairy bottoms, that was funny. Hairy bottoms. You'd think I was in the ninth grade. I'm still in the 7th grade. I haven't gotten to the 9th grade yet. So that's my sense of humor. If you can stand my sense of humor, you can come here and maybe learn something about trading. But if you can't stand my sense of humor, I know another guy over there that has no sense of humor. He'll teach you how to trade. All right, we'll come in here. We have fun in here anyway, don't we? Hairy tops and hairy bottoms. All right, here we come in here. These are flat bottoms. All right, flat bottoms are funny too. I mean, I guess anything that, you can. Body humor. It's all funny when you're 14 years old. Okay. All right, don't grow up. Whatever you do, don't grow up. Okay, so we're going to come in here, and we have flat tops and flat bottoms. And we have hairy tops and hairy bottoms. We don't want to trade if the market's making both of those at the same time. It's one or the other. All right. So like right through here, lots of hairy tops and lots of hairy bottoms. I call them bottoming tails and topping tails. All right. But now I'm going to call them hairy tops and hairy bottoms from now on out because it's funny. All right. I'm just sitting here in my office all by myself. I do see names on the screen knowing that people are listening to me. But other than that, I'm just here all by myself in my office talking about hairy bottoms and hairy tops. If you think about it, it's kind of odd. All right, we're going to come in here, and when a market, it's easy to trade. Let me tell you something. Trading and making money is really easy when the market's performing with flat bottoms and flat tops. It's easy to make money. Where you get tripped up is when the market's not making flat bottoms and flat tops with these Heikin-Ashi range bar charts. All right. And so if the market's not making flat bottoms and flat tops, it's really hard to make money. But if the market's making flat bottoms and flat tops, it's really easy to make money. So our jobs as traders is to decide when the right time to trade is. And that's your key. Now remember, there's one up for every down. It's that simple. And we can use a tool to help us show us where those ups and downs are. If we come in here, and I like to use a little tool called the ATR. It's called average true range. It's nothing more than just it's a moving average that has little dots. And it just flips from one side to the other when the average true range matches the mathematical formula that you put in here. I like to start with 1 to 1. All right. We can go smaller, but just as a starting point, just put it at 1 to 1. And so if the market goes above the ATR, the average true range, we're in an uptrend. If the market goes below the ATR, we're in a downtrend. All right. And as long as the market is making flat bottoms up and flat tops down, you can make money at this market. But as soon as it starts bouncing back and forth like that, you can't make money. All right. And there's something called the profit box. And I've talked to you about the profit box, but I'm going to mention it again today. And so there's one up for every down. And all you have to do as a trader is determine if the ups are big enough to outperform the downs, or if the downs are big enough to outperform the ups. All right. And that's the only thing you have to do as a trader, is that you have to wait until the market is making flat bottoms and flat tops. Then you can trade. And then the key is, it's really simple. If you just use this strategy, there's not much to it with the Heikin-Ashi bars. All right, one up for every down. Use the ATR to help you know which side you're supposed to be drawing your ups and downs on. And when it changes from red to green, you can take a signal. Now, if that bar goes green, you come in here to your little trading tab, and we got flat bottoms. We're looking for flat tops, flat bottom, flat tops. Now we're looking for flat bottoms. If it goes green, it might be switching and going the other way. Now, sometimes this is another hard part about trading, is that markets will do this. They'll go down, up, just like that. Nice, beautiful ups and downs. But sometimes they do this. They go down with a tiny up, which is called a counter trend, and then they'll go down again, all right, with a longer trend. So if you take these ups, these little ups right here, little green, if that bar finishes green, we'll take a long position in anticipation of a rising price, right? And then what we do, if we take that and it doesn't turn around and keep going and turns around and makes a big long down, you got to get out real fast. So the real key is getting out really fast so you have little tiny losses. All right, a lot of people will stay in and they just like, oh well, I picked the wrong direction. It's going against me, but I'll just stay in until it comes all the way down here, and then eventually it'll come back and I'll make money or I'll get out at break even. Don't do that. The market can stay irrational longer than you can stay liquid. All right, so don't do that, especially not in the futures market, because in the futures market you're working on leverage, and we got a lot of leverage. It doesn't take very much money to make a lot of money in these markets. All right, so be very careful. All right, let me see. Following along in my futures demo account and getting slightly different chart colors, bars also in the range 25, and bar colors open, close. All right, here's what you need to do. Right click on your chart, slide down to chart preferences. Are you with me, Kurt? Right click on your chart, slide down to chart preferences. Click. And it's going to bring up this big, ugly panel over here. All right, it's not that hard, but it's kind of big and ugly. I don't like things popping up over the chart. And right now, if I was working on my little control tribe preferences, in most software, you'd have a big box that popped up over the top of your chart. And then you can't see your chart. You can't see what's going on while you're changing your settings. It's like, maybe I want to take a trade while I'm working on my settings. So I do it like this. All right. So I hate things popping up over my chart. Now, there's some things that have to do it. You can't get away with it. It's called Windows for a reason. But we tried to put everything in this control panel, so we didn't have that. Now slide down. Slide down. Let me get out of the way. Hold on. Slide down, and right here, see where it says bar colors? Make sure you have open to close, right? There's lots of ways you can choose. Again, it's very powerful software. It gives you lots of ways to change things. But if you want yours to look like mine, and the way I like them is like this. All right, so we want to be open to close. Open to close. I got mine long, green, red, white, and then I say show bar text, and I say fill all candles right there. So that's the difference, open to close. Sometimes it comes out of the box, close to close, because some people like close to close. I don't. I like open to close. Open to close for my candlesticks. Okay, fill all candles. All right, and we're going to hit save and update all charts. That's one thing. That's another one of my pet peeves. When I owned this company, I had it sit here open to close. That was my default settings. Everything was open to close. And then when they bought it, I don't know why, but they flipped it to close, and they like it like that. I like it like this. So make yours like mine. It doesn't come out of the box the way I use it. So it's good to come here and ask those questions. So Kirk says, yes, out of the box, it's closed to close. And that's a lot of people like closed to close. I don't. I like open to close. So just change it. All right. So let's come in here, and that should get you back to where I'm at. Now, let's come in here, delete all these drawing tools. And what we're going to do, oh, look, that's a little green one. See, we weren't paying attention. We could have taken that, but since it's failing and it's going red again, let's wait for that bar and see. We can make it a little bigger so you guys can see it. If that bar goes red and we get a flat top on it, we could take a short position. The only thing we don't want it to do is die on us. Now, one of the problem is, look at the distance between the little yellow dots and the top of that bar. That's a long ways. In fact, if we take our dollar calculator and we measure it from that yellow dot down to there, that's $155. That's a lot of money to me. $155. If I lost that, went and told my wife, she'd be so pissed off because I could have taken her out to a really nice dinner for that. A really nice dinner. We could have probably had crab legs, all kinds of fun things. All right. So got to be careful with our trailing stop. And one of the nice things about software is that you can trail your stop on those little yellow dots, or you can trail one price bar back. And if you got a beautiful market like this, where you got little flat bottoms like that, and the market just keeps going, you can trail right on those little dots or on those little flat bottoms, just price bars back. Or you can come in here with your ATR and watch this. You can go in here and on the stop factor, you can make it tighten up. You can make it go boop, 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 boop. And you can bring those little yellow dots right in close, because what we do is we use those little yellow dots. That's pretty close. When the market's doing nicely, you can put it like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I put about like a 5 sometimes. Sometimes I like 8, 7, 8. It depends, because it depends on how much you're scalping or trying to get a little bit of a day trade. Now, to me, there's a difference. Day trade means we want to stay in the market for, I don't know, 2 or 3, 4 hours, 5 hours. We try to catch a longer term trend. So that's why you might use something more like a 1-minute chart to a 5-minute chart. Try to get at one of those long trends for the day if you think the market's just going to trend up all day. And you can hold your stop back further and anticipate bigger trends. But when you're scalping, like I like to do, I like to scalp because I have a very short attention span, if that doesn't surprise you. I have a very short attention span. And so I like to get in and scalp. But scalp means that you're just taking little moves in the market. One little up, one little down. That's a lot of money, though, in there. Between this little yellow dot and that little yellow dot, that's the in and out. If you get in here and out there, that's $240. $240 again, that's a lot of money. I could take my girlfriend out and I could take my wife out. I could take them both out for that much money. All right. Well, I don't know if I could take my girlfriend out for that much money. Don't tell my wife that I take my girlfriend out. Actually, my wife and my girlfriend are the same person, different night. Sometimes I'm married to a girlfriend. Sometimes I'm married to a wife. Sometimes my wife is my girlfriend. You guys ever have that? I don't know. It's usually, I don't know, once a month she's a wife. The rest of the month she's a girlfriend. I don't know. Don't. I told you, if you don't like my personality, there's another guy over there that's not got one. Okay. Let's come in. Let's see. We're coming in here. We're on a range bar 25, so this thing's moving relatively slow, but it does look like it's trying to break down. If we could get a little red bar there, we could take a position short. This is the Dow, so again, it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit smaller market. We can come down. We can maybe open up a 12. We could open up a range bar 12 and see what that looks like. It's going to move a little faster, give you a little bit more granularity. Makes it a little tougher too, though. Because then when we put our little charts in here, ATR, our little dots have to be further away. It's the same thing, just a little bit more granularity. It makes it, sometimes you get too small, it makes it a little tougher to trade. You get too small, it's not as easy as maybe going out a little bit farther. A little bit farther sometimes, then you're like, well, maybe I go halfway in between. What's halfway between 12 and 25? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25. Maybe we go 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Maybe we go 18. I don't know. Let's try it. You never know. You just try things. But Lan, isn't there the right answer? No, there's actually not a right answer. There's just a different answer. But what if 18 doesn't do as good as 12? Well, you don't know that till hindsight. Nobody made any money on hindsight. All right. What's wrong with that thing? How come I can't get 18? 1, 8. It's not working. I want 8, 1, 1, 8. There we go. All right. We're going to make that a range bar 18. Let's try that. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. We'll try it. If it looks good, we'll trade it. Oh, that does look good. I like that a little better than the 25. 25 is a little bit long. 18 is a little bit shorter. Oh, we already missed our opportunity. That first red bar. We're going to take a short position here. We're going to just sell the market. Now, the problem with that is I got in with one contract and I don't have my stop in there automatically. These little buttons down here, we can program, put the stop in automatically. It's starting to drop. We can bring our stop in, though, all by itself. Watch this. We'll come in here. Oh, we're already up $100. How about that? Bring our stop in here and we can put that up here like this. Now, how far is it going to go? We don't know. Nobody knows how far it's going to go. If you're happy with $100, take it off with $100. Go take your girlfriend out or your wife, whichever she is that day. If you take out your wife, you might turn her into your girlfriend. You never know. You just got to take her out and then she'll be your girlfriend. Okay, we're going to come in here and we're going to trail on the ATR and we hit okay. And then every time that market goes down and makes a new bar, that little yellow dot will fall down, trail down behind it. And you can control it. You can come in here, even while it's going, you can come in here and pull it a little closer. And then next time it gets a new bar, it'll jump to the little yellow dot, which is a little bit closer. All right. You can change it while you're going. It won't jump backwards. Like if you say, oh, I want to pull it back here, it won't do that. It won't jump backwards. It'll wait for the yellow dot to catch up to it, and then it'll jump forward. It never jumps backwards. So stops never move backwards. You should never move your stop backwards. All right. That's kind of a rule of thumb for traders. Once they put their orders in, you're not supposed to move your stop backwards. All right. That's a surefire way of losing more money. But if you want to bring them forward, you can just move this little dot. And because we got that set right now, we programmed it to trail on the ATR. See that little words right there, trail ATR. So we can bring that in. And if we bring it closer, as soon as we get a new bar, it'll jump to a closer. We're getting a little too close. It flips sides. We don't want to flip sides. Okay, so it's a little close right there, 0.6. So as soon as we get a new bar, it'll jump to that little dot. Oh, there it went. Jump to the dot. Now the dot didn't go down closer because the market started to pull back. We're testing against this previous low over here. You just kind of look back in time and you say, oh, look, there's some lows over there. It's going to have a hard time breaking through there. But if it can break through there and close below there, it might continue down. If it doesn't, then we might just get stopped out with a small loss. But get out fast. Yes, Kimberly's correct. Hit save to all charts, and it'll save that, and it'll go out. You can right click on your chart too. So if you got your chart the way you want it, like right now, I like it like this. I can go right click, save, and apply settings to all charts. Boom, just like that. I can come down here and just say save settings as my defaults, but then that won't apply it to all charts. If you want all the open charts to be updated to look like this one, then you hit this one. All right. All right, let's see if it'll move for us. Come on, Dow Jones, drop. So now all we got to remember is there's one up for every down. And all our job is to determine how big those ups and downs are going. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. We don't know how long it's going to go. So you just got to get in there and try it. All right. And if it's making good longs, ups and downs, and there's not lots of little hairy tops and little hairy bottoms popping in and out of there all the time, then like this, you're making good moves, then that's a good time to trade because the market's moving well. As soon as it stops making trends like that, then you kind of have to sit on your hands again. But you kind of have to wait for it to happen first and then jump in and trade because you don't know if it's going to do a nice move like that until it does it. But just keep watching. If it starts making hairy tops, then you start getting nervous. But right now, it's making little flat tops, so we're happy. The problem is we're not making lower lows. See? Lower highs and lower lows. That's the definition of a downtrend. Definition of an uptrend is higher highs and higher lows. Right now, it's making lower highs. But see that little one right there? That's giving me a little heartache right now. Why? Because it's higher than the previous low. It's supposed to be lower than the previous low. It's supposed to be down here. So I need it to come down there and make a lower low. If it doesn't, then I get nervous. I start biting my fingernails because I'm over here. Come on. And look how far back my stop is. So I can come in here. Look, I can come in here. I can right click on it and say edit. Oh, and it's a little pop-up window that I hate, but we have to do it because that's the way Windows does things. So now we come in here and we say, I'm going to tell it to trail instead of the ATR, which is those little yellow dots. I'm going to trail it price bars back. And I can just tell it to trail one price bar back. That brings my stop in a little bit closer. Now I could have used the yellow dots, but if I pull the yellow dots in that close, sometimes it flips it to the other side. And I didn't want it to do that. So this thing's getting a little tired, a little lazy. It's not pulling down for us. Range bar 18. It's not dropping like we want it to. Uh-oh. We're already down to only 15 minutes left until the market closes. This was actually a pretty good power hour. This was good. We were just pontificating and playing at the time. I'm having a little watermelon water. You guys have your water? You got to drink a lot of water. I ran out of lemons, so I had to put watermelon in my water. I can't just drink plain water. It drives me crazy. I like to have, oh, we got stopped out. Now, what I hate is if it stops you out like this and then just turns and falls again. because that's frustrating. You're like, yeah, what do you do if that happens? Well, you get back in. Just don't jump in and out all the time. Wait for a signal. Wait for a green bar. Wait for a red bar. First green candle to make a new high. First red candle to make a new low. That's kind of your triggers. But when you start getting lots of them, see, we're starting to do a little dance. We're starting to lose our momentum. And then we're starting to get, if you start getting this kind of stuff, that's what rips your wheels off. That's why you don't jump in and out all the time. Because if you keep jumping in and out every time you get a flip over with highs or with hairy tops and hairy bottoms, that's what rips your wheels off, and you get stopped out too much, and then you lose your money. But you don't know when it's going to run. You don't know when it's going to take off. So you have to just kind of gauge it. There's one up for every down, but sometimes the ups become little, and then you get another big down. But then if we don't get a big down, then we're frustrated. We're like, I thought I was supposed to get 2 big downs in a row. Land said so. He had this software. He had this picture just like this. He gave me this picture right here. And every time he said 100% of the time, every single time, you get big ups and little downs, big ups and little downs. He promised me. He said he would. It was like 100% of the time it would do this. And he said I was going to be rich, rich, rich beyond my wildest dreams. No, I didn't say that. I never said that. I said, you're lucky if it does it. You're lucky if you can get a trend like that. You're really lucky. That's what you're looking for, is a little luck. You got to have a little luck. All right. Remember, it's like trading. Trading is like a carnival game. You're going to go and you're going to just do your best you can. If you think it's going to keep going down, get in again. I don't know. Put your stop in there. Take a little tiny loss. Don't take big risks. If it doesn't immediately go in your favor, as soon as you get in, just get right back out. Eventually, you'll catch one. You might lose 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row. But if you have little tiny losses, then when it does go, you can get all your money back. And then that's the game I play. Now, here's my strategy. I like to do it like this. And then if I lose 2 or 3, 4 times in a row, I got little tiny losses. Then when it does go, it'll eventually go in my favor, and I'll make back most of my money or all my money, and I get all my money back. I'll take it back and get back to zero. A lot of guys will tell me, why did you get out? You could have just stayed in and made money. Because I get nervous. I'm a nervous guy. I'm a nervous trader. I want to get my money back. If I get down a little bit, I want to get my money back. There's always more opportunities to take more trades, but I just hate losing money. Don't you hate losing money? I hate losing money. So what I do is if I lose a little bit of money 2 or 3 times in a row, and then I get one that moves in my favor and it gets me money back, I take it and I just get out, and then I wait for another opportunity because I want it to just immediately go in my favor and start making me money. That's what I want. I don't like to sit on losers and go, oh, wait for it to come back. It'll eventually come back. And sure, it might. But you know how many times it hasn't? And just went forever and just left me in the dust and lose 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, $1,000 while I'm waiting for it to come back. That's a bad strategy. Don't do that. All right. Now, if it's only down $30, I'm not going to get out of my position to try and get my $30 back. You can if you're little. That's more nervous than me. I mean, that's nervous nilly. I'm not that nervous. I mean, if I get down $100, that's when I'll probably try and get my money back. On this little market, $100 is a lot of money. You do it in the NASDAQ, you might be down $500 and not be worried about it because you can make $500 in the NASDAQ, boop, just like that. Once the market starts to move in your favor. So if you get down $150, $50, then that's okay. And then because when you catch one in the NASDAQ, man, all your money comes back really fast. So you can let it go a little bit farther. But on the NASDAQ, on the Dow, it's a little market. And so $30 is not bad. I'm not going to jump out of the market because I got my $30 back. Not that you can't. I'll show you how you do it. You come in here and you hit your limit order. Actually, what you do is you come in here and let's kill this. We'll delete our stop order. And we right click and we say add OCO. And look, it adds these little, look at that. Look how cool. You just move it up and down like that. Did you guys see that? You right click on your order, get rid of your other superfluous orders, right click on there, say add order, and it's hooked together. See that? You can move it up and down, and then you just drop it on there wherever you want. Just bonk, click your mouse, and then you can move your stop. You can program your stop. You can say, I want my stop, edit order, and it puts it over the top. Then you come in, I want a trail on we're going to use an OCOs down here now. It's this box down here, not the one up there. So when we come in here, we go trail ATR, just like that. And that's going to trail, or I can trail price bars back, and I can still put it back on 1 price bar back or 2 price bars back, whatever I want. All right. So 1 price bar back. And then Now I can come in here with the limit order. I can put that wherever I want. And if you look over here on the left-hand side, oh, what happened? Did we get stopped out? No. Well, that sucks. I was just teaching a lesson. But we got our money back. I was going to show you how that worked. Here, let's just get in. I'm going to just get in for you again. Here, do you want to sell or buy? Well, it's trying to go green. It means up. That's all right. We'll go sell again because we're using that strategy. All right, we'll say sell. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go right. We're going to go add OCO. We're going to come in here. We're going to go and we're going to put this. This time I won't put it one price bar back. Edit order. I'm going to put a trail ATR. That way it's not quite so close. Won't get stopped out on little tiny moves. There we go. So let's see the ATR holds it back a little bit farther. You got that spread that's kind of getting in the way. You do one price bar back, it's too close. So that's why we use the little yellow dots, and then they're a little bit further away. You can control them better. All right, now let's say we're down 50 bucks. All right, see right over here on the left-hand side. See that says $415. That's a limit order, meaning it's going to take profits at $415. But if I'm down 50 bucks and I want to take that $50, I can raise that up until it says $50. When it says $50, you might want to go 55 just in case to cover your commissions. But now we're up $55, $5 commissions and fees. You made 50 bucks just like that. See that? See how that works? Isn't that neat? That's cool. That's cool beans there. So we'll do it again one more time just to show you how to do it. Hit sell market. All right, we're going to right click on the chart, hit add OCO, just like that. All kinds of really cool things. We're going to hit just left mouse button, click those into place. Now we can come in here. We can go edit order. We're going to tell it what we want to do is we want to trail it. We're going to trail this wherever we want to trail it. We'll do ATR again. And then we say, well, we want to make $100. So we just bring that up to $100. You just put that right there where it says $100 over here on the left-hand side. And then when the market goes down, it'll make you $100. Or it'll go up and it'll stop you out and it tells you right there you're going to lose $100. But of course, if the market does go in your favor, well, that'll keep moving down and then it'll lose less and less and less. All right. So we just kind of randomly jumped in there, but that's how you do it. And we're going to get stopped out. And now what's cool is that you can come in and you program these little buttons to do that all by itself. So let's hit exit chart and I'll show you that too. See that? I got to buy, market, stop 100, limit 100, sell, market, stop 100, limit 100. Now it's going to break those blue lights. Let's see. I can't do it right now. We're going to time it. But we got these buttons here. I'm going to right click on there. 777 is my favorite little strategy. We're going to come in here. You just see that's buy. And it's going to put your stop at 100, limit at 100. That's just dropping it on there. But then we have it programmed to trail price bars back. So then it'll drop it in there at 100, and then boop, it'll jump right up there to 100, just like that. And then this will be 100, and you just grab it and move it where you want. So it's all programmed in, makes it really easy. So if you think, well, I think it's going to go up, you just hit that one button, boom, it automatically puts the OCO on there for you. All right, no big deal, just like that, magic, just like magic. And then you can grab this here and it says that's at $500 at 100 ticks out. See that? Well, I don't think it's going to go that high. Let's just say if it comes up here and tests this previous high, I will get out there and that'll be 185 bucks. All right. Or 37 ticks. So that's how you do it. Just like that. And it's all automatically done. Automated. It's called automation. All right. Well, tried to make a green bar, didn't it? And that little got a hairy top on it. Look at all the hairy tops and bottoms. Hairy top, hairy bottom. Hairy top, hairy bottom. Hairy top, hairy bottom. We shouldn't be trading. We got to get a flat bottom, and then that's the direction we'll go, or a flat top, and that's the direction we want to go. So you want to wait till you get a flat top or a flat bottom, and then go in the direction the opposite of the flat side. So if it's a flat top, you go down. If it's a flat bottom, you go up. And then there's one up for every down. And then the little yellow dots just tell you where those are, those ups and downs, just like that. See, one up for every down. Now we're getting a little down here. We had a little bit of a hairy top, hairy bottom right there, a little bit of a pop up in there. Those guys do that just to take your stops out. That's what those are. Those, see that? There's another one. They do that just to take your stop out, just to continue. Oh, hey, there's a bunch of trailing stops. Let's go down and take them all out. And it takes them all out, and then it just continues to go. They do that on purpose, so you have to be careful of that. All right. You think somebody can't see your screen? You're wrong. They can. There's other traders who can see your screen. And what they do is they see all the trailing stops. They go up there and take them out, fill them up, and then let the market continue down. So if you want to avoid those, you have to trail your stop further back than everybody else. But then when the market does turn around, your stop's way back there and you lose all your profits. So it's a nasty game. It's just a carnival game. One big carnival game. Oh, look, we got flat tops. Why aren't we short? Let's try it. Boom, just like that. A little bit late to the party. Oh, I wanted to talk to you about profit boxes. Profit box. Let's get rid of all the drawings. All right. And a profit box is where you can get in versus where you can get out. All right. So if you measure from the top of a trend to the bottom of the trend, from here all the way to here, right? Because you're looking at this little arrow right here. You're getting in on the crossover here. And then you don't get in until that crosses the inside of the arrows or on the outside. Let's make it a little bit more obvious. Let's come in here because that's why you tighten these things up. Okay, so we're going to come in here and we're going to bring this out. There we go. Make a nice big profit box. A little tiny profit box, I guess is the. We'll just put it at 1-to-1. All right, so the profit box is, you can see the bottom of the trend. See that right there, and to the top of the trend right there. You can never get all that money. Everything from there to there. $610. You're like, wow, $610. I can be rich, rich, rich beyond my wildest dreams. The problem is you can't catch that. All right. All you can do is you're going to get in on the crossover right down in here when the market changes from down to up, right? You get down to up just like this. Market's coming down like that, and then it goes up like that, then it goes down like that. It makes a little up in here, but it didn't break the yellow lights, and then it went down, so you got just one great big long down. See that? And so what happens is you have what I call the profit box. If you go from top to bottom, that's from the top of the trend to the bottom of the trend, but you can't get the top of the trend. So all you can do is you can get in where you get in. So you can get in right here when it crosses those little yellow dots. That's your entry point, and then you trail up on your trailing stop until you get out, which is your exit point, which is right here. So that is from here to here. That's your profit box. So now we've got the profit box and the trend covering each other up. So let's move that out a little bit. So it goes from, well, let's bring it so it's still the same price, as close as we can, right there, something right there. So $610 is the height of the trend. From the low to the high is $610. Well, your profit box, if I can bring this in, your profit box is only $210 big. From where you can get in to where you can get out is $210. The high of this to the low of this is the trend height. That's $610. But out of that $610 move, you can only get about 210 of it. What? That sucks. I know, it sucks. But that's the way you trade. Because if you come in here and you draw a box all the way from the top to the bottom, right? That's your box. That's your trend box. We call that the trend box. And then your profit box is how much money you can make from where you get in to where you get out, which is that big. That's your profit box. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. So if a market's not moving big enough that your profit box is worth getting in and getting out of, you can't trade. You can't make money. Oh, you can scalp out a little bits, little tiny bits in there. Once you get in, you can say, oh, well, I'm happy with $50, or I'm happy with it just goes up to here. There's $100. I'm happy with $100. I'm happy with $150. But if you're going to try and capture everything you can out of that whole trend from entry to exit, that's $220. All right. That's what I'm showing you about the profit box. So the problem is, see that? Starts a new profit box right here. From here down to here. And then you're like, well, that's from the high of the peak to the low of the peak. And then it comes back. So where's the profit box in there? It's like, well, where could I have got in? First candle to break a new low, red candle, we'll get in there. Last candle to break, first candle to break is right there. So there's your profit box. So the difference is from where this candle down to where this candle. So that's $170. From the high of the trend to the low of the trend, that's $360. Well, don't give yourself unrealistic expectations thinking that you're going to capture $160 of that box, because you're not. You can only get in where you get in and where you get out. That's $170 of a $360 profit box. All right. Profit potential is 170. So you got to keep that in mind. Did we just get stopped out? We did. Did we make money today? Oh, we lost $190 today. Look, what happened? Did we get stopped out on that little thing right there while we were pontificating? What happened? Oh, we did. Well, there you go. Land's down $190 today. Not making all the money that we thought we'd make on the Dow. But I hope you learned something. Hopefully you learned a little bit, learned how to set up your charts, learned how to use some of the software, learned what flat bottoms are and flat tops, how to use them, how to transition from red to green, 1 up for every down, and what hairy bottoms are and hairy tops are. And don't trade when they're making hairy bottoms and hairy tops. And look for flat bottoms and flat tops, and be mindful of the profit box, because you can't capture the entire trend from top to bottom. You can only capture the profit box. All right. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. I do have something I want to run by you. I got something new. I got something new for you to show you. Let me show you this new thing. This is a new thing Claire brought over for me.
Hey, Claire here. Guess what? Mr. Turner handed me the mic. I've now got my very own podcast, Pitt News on Air, your new weekly hit from Pitt News Magazine. Join me every Wednesday for stories, interviews, and a little behind-the-scenes scoop. We're live on Spotify, and yep, now on Apple Podcasts, too. Visit pittnews.com to follow. Come hang out with me and the gang. We're all there. Jake and Lena, of course, Lan Turner, David Duty, Dr. Scott Brown, Jordan Black, and even Aiden shows up on occasion. We're having a world of fun. Don't miss out. Pitt News on Air, because news should never be boring. It's where your trading friends are. Follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, guys, you can go over to pittnews.com and sign up for Claire's podcast. It's really fun. She's got about 6 issues or six episodes posted already. She's been doing it for a month and a half. 5 episodes. She's working on 6 for next week. And, of course, Pitt News Magazine, we just dropped the new issue for June, and it's really good. I like it a lot. There's some really good articles in there, and we're already writing some great articles for the July issue. There's an article in the July issue, which I think is a banner article that's going to go famous and worldwide. It's going to have to go viral. It's so good. I can't wait to get it out to you. I'm always anxious to get you all the new information, but the June issue is the early one, is the current one, and that's what I'm anxious to get that in your hands too, because there's some really good ones in there, great articles. And so don't forget, and if you're not getting your Pitt News Magazine, then let me know, because we've been having problems with the delivery of the emails. And so we've been trying to change up the emails. If you read them, you'll kind of go, what the heck? This is an odd email. But that's because we're trying to get past all the Google filters, because everybody's, the filters just they throw them in the garbage. It's just what it is. You have to deal with. All right. Y'all know that Toll.
Yeah, of course. A lot of subscriptions for magazines. My most recent subscription, I picked up a lifetime subscription to Pitt News Magazine as an example, among others as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bill Gates.
Yeah, when I heard Elon talking about Pitt News Magazine, I called in and got a lifetime subscription myself, of course.
Of course. And of course.
Look, if you haven't subscribed to Pitt News Magazine yet, then I'm going to need to see you professionally, because you must have something wrong with your brain.
All right, guys, we would never use AI in this AI organization. We would never use AI in this AI organization. All right, we would never use AI to get celebrity endorsements. We would never do that, except for 3 times. All right, that's all I got for you today. Just goofing off at this point. Glad you hung out with me. If you had fun, if you learned anything, hit the little thumbs up. That lets me know I'm on the right track and we're having fun anyway, and doing crazy things, trying to make a little bit of money. We lost $190 today. We'll make it up tomorrow, promise. Or next week. Tomorrow morning, we're going to, we have to close out a bunch of our long options positions. And the reason is because the market is starting to change. It's cooling off a little bit. All right. Some of these markets are hitting some of their highs, getting ready to break the blue light. We got a bunch of long calls on there. I'd like to take them off today, but I won't do it. I'll wait until tomorrow, so you guys can be a part of that, and we'll make some money, take some profits, and reevaluate what we're going to do. All right. So come and join me tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. for a review of our options portfolio. All right, guys. That's all I got for you. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, that wraps it up for today. If you got something out of this, do me a favor. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone else who's trading or learning.
Hey, don't forget to tell them to subscribe to Pitt News Magazine.
Oh yeah, definitely subscribe to Pitt News Magazine. You'll thank us later.